Hi, today is Saturday, February 11th, 2017, and this is a Swede Speaks. The Swedish Prime Minister, Mr. Stefan Löfven, is visiting Iran, together with Miss Ann Linde, who is Minister for Trade in the Löfven cabinet. She was, of course, wearing a hijab. The Swedish government claims to be a feminist government, the first one in the world, according to themselves. I have a few questions that arises from this. Is this why Löfven's cabinet can be tough on President Trump, but lenient towards Iran? Because the Iranian government's policies are so much better for women or for gender equality than President Trump's policies? Is this why Sweden is hard on Israel? Is this why Prime Minister Löfven quoted the so-called Prophet Muhammad on Sweden's National Day 2014? Is this why they refused to talk to the Sweden Democrats, but they talked to Iran and many other pretty despicable countries? Or is it the usual? Feminists like to criticize white, heterosexual, cisgendered males, knowing that most of us, including President Trump and the Israeli government, will act in a civilized way. But they know, somewhere deep down, that the Iranian government is something else. At the same time, what message does this send to Iran and other Islamic nations from the feminist, progressive government of Sweden? The obvious message should be this: you are stronger than us. You will defeat us in a confrontation. And that's why we bend over backwards to you, because we are afraid of you. We respect you. No, we don't respect you. We fear you. And we hope that you will be nice to us. This is about appeasement. And you know what Winston Churchill supposedly said about appeasement? Appeasement is like feeding a crocodile. It's feeding a crocodile hoping that he will eat you the last. And I can't help but to think about Sweden's policies during World War II. During World War II, Sweden was neutral. Yes, you heard right. Sweden was neutral. But when Germany asked Sweden to allow them to send troops through Sweden to Norway, which was an occupied country, Sweden agreed. That was fine, because Germany was stronger than Sweden. And during the Cold War, after World War II, Sweden was still neutral. Neutrality became something sacred politically in Sweden. In Sweden, for instance, Prime Minister Olof Palme would say things like, "We don't do anti-Sovietism here." But he would have no problems criticizing the United States. But he wouldn't criticize the Soviets. So, during the Cold War, Sweden was neutral on the side of the Soviet Union, because they considered the Soviet Union to be stronger than them. And they probably assumed that the United States would still act civilized. And now, what do we see? We see a left-leaning government, a progressive government, all the things I don't like, but still. A government that calls themselves feminist. And what a great feminist government Sweden has. Sweden is number 2 or maybe number 3 in the rape statistics in the Western world. The rape capital, Sweden. And much of this is because of the influx of migrants from parts of the world where where the idea about women is much worse than it is by common white heterosexual cisgendered Swedish men. You could think about that for a while. And the feminist government, the left-leaning government, the progressive government that lets elderly Swedes live in containers, or okay, that was the city council of Värmdö. But still, we have a pattern here. And this is the hypocrisy of the Swedish feminist government. And there really is no way to get around this. What is needed is a government that dares to say that Swedish values, the way they used to be, which, like Norwegian values, are based in Western values, or actually based in the Judeo-Christian culture, the heritage from Jerusalem, Athens and Rome. The Swedish culture is a small part of Western culture. A Swede and an American, a Swede and a Canadian, a Swede and an Australian. Hey, even a Swede and a Latin American should have more in common than a Swede and an Iranian. And I have nothing against Iranians. Lots of Iranians are wonderful people, but their country is run by a terrible regime. And I mean, it's rather disgusting that Sweden is so hard on Israel, so hard on President Trump, and lenient towards the Islamic government of Iran. The same Islamic government that recently sentenced 3 men in Iran, converts from Islam to Christianity, to lashings because they took Holy Communion. And that's the government that the Swedish government wants to do business with, to talk to. I am really out of words. This is really disgusting. They shouldn't be talking to them. No one should. I mean, the only thing you should be saying to them is, we don't want anything to do with you until you better the situation for all of your citizens, including women, including Christians, including gays. Yeah, you didn't think I was going to say that, did you? But I mean it. And until then, there should be no diplomatic contact. Seriously. And if you like this channel, please like and share my videos. And you can support this channel through PayPal or through Patreon, and I will include links for that in the box below. And I will also include some other useful links. And that's really all I got right now. This is a Swede Speaks. Have a nice day. And I am going to church tomorrow to take communion. I hope you do too.